in democracy has been emphasized. This was the course of discussions at a Jumat lecture organized to commemorate the Nigeria 62nd independence anniversary at the National Mosque, Abuja. As the country heads towards the general elections next year, politicians and their supporters were advised to focus on issue-based campaigns that will promote peace, unity, and development in the country.
Start campaigning for our votes for 2023 election. We want issue-based campaign, how to make Nigeria better in years to come, devoid of hate speeches, mudslinging, abuses.
The topic for today's public lecture is Shura, the Islamic foundation for true democracy.
If the principle of Shura is followed, it will create an opportunity for dialogue that enhances ethnic communication while promoting national cohesion and identity. This would go a long way to stemming intertribal and intercommunal and ethnic suspicion, animosity, aggression, and conflicts.
As leaders, we owe it a duty to provide good leadership. And going by the topic of today, of Shura, good leadership can be better achieved with the Shura, with the consultation, with the collaboration and partnership.
Stakeholders at the 62nd Jumat lecture to commemorate Nigeria's independence in Abuja. The Southern Senators Forum has asked the 36 state houses of assembly across the nation to expedite action on amendment bills for the review of the 1999 Constitution as transmitted to them by the National Assembly, saying that this would be an independence anniversary gift to Nigerians if done. The chairman of the forum, Senator Kweyemi Bamidele, made this known in a statement issued on the occasion of the commemoration of Nigeria's 62nd independence anniversary. Bamidele said he was optimistic that most of the challenges facing the nation would be a thing of the past if the salient report becomes law. Bamidele also urged Nigerians to be optimistic about the future of the nation, notwithstanding the enormity of current challenges, adding that there was yet light at the end of the tunnel if Nigerians have faith in God and take the much-needed steps. Meanwhile, the grand finale of the 2022 Independence Day celebration to be presided over by Augusta Governor Prince Dr. Abeokuta will hold on Saturday, October 1 at the MKO Abiola International Stadium, Kuto, Abeokuta, beginning from 10 in the morning. A statement by the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Waheed Odushile, indicates that it will feature parade by the armed forces, police, labor and trade union groups, as well as march past by various schools across the state. All invited guests are expected to be seated at 9:30 in the morning. In a related development, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, has directed the deployment of adequate personnel to provide protection for citizens, critical national infrastructure, and ensure the success of all activities lined up for the country's 62nd independence anniversary, scheduled for Saturday nationwide. This was contained in a statement made available to newsmen in Abuja by the first spokesperson, CSP Olumuyiwa Adejobi. According to the statement, the IGP directed strategic police managers comprising Assistant Inspector General of Police and Commissioners of Police in all the zonal and state commands, and also the FCT Abuja, to ensure high visibility and confidence-boosting patrols around the venues of the celebrations, residential areas and other public places to prevent infiltration by hostile elements and ensure a peaceful celebration. It stated that the Inspector General of Police therefore enjoined citizens to cooperate completely with officers of the Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies for improved security management at various public gatherings during the independence celebration. It added that the IGP similarly urged all citizens to imbibe the spirit of tolerance among each other, which is vital in a multicultural society like Nigeria. Away from that now, Ogun State Civil Service Commission has concluded its examination for civil servants seeking professional upgrade. OGTV News was at the examination center at Babalake Hall, Mapoli in Abeokuta, and reports that the 3-day examination exercise has ended with participants sharing their experiences. Aderonke Adeyemi has the details.
After a 3-day examination, where civil servants were tested on various Public Service Commission subjects, the inter-cadre examination for public civil servants in Ogun State had finally come to an end. The examination, conducted by the Ogun State Civil Service Commission, witnessed civil servants take the examination in both professional and executive categories, and serving officers who sought inter-cadre transfer to fill up vacancies in some ministries, departments and agencies in Ogun State. Oluwaranti Akinola is one of such who is glad that the examination is over and aptly described it as a rite of passage, recounted his experience in the past 3 days.
Yeah, I partook in the just concluded professional exam and also a compulsory exam for the professionals. So we started 2 days ago, and the one we have done, we tried our best. Though it's a normal routine and normal rules of the civil service, you know, as a civil servant, there are some things you need to know. And glory to God, we tried our best.
Others emphasize that the examination allows for an in-depth knowledge about the Public Service Commission in the state.
So the subject for today's, the one we just finished, is civil service regulation. So thank God the exam was so fine. Though they allow us to use civil service materials, but the most important thing there is just that how to know the areas where you can get the answers.
And so far, I think we really like the way it's being conducted. At least we learn new things. You know, there are some things that we don't really know about the public service settings, and going by the questions and the research and all that, at least we are able to know.
The exercise is to encourage workers in the state to develop themselves in relevant fields for service delivery, as it would enable them to progress in their chosen career. Aderonke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
The current administration in Ogun State will continue to involve community development associations in ensuring even distribution of dividends of democracy. Commissioner for Community Development and Cooperatives, Honorable Abayomi Hunye, gave this assurance during a meeting with the Executive Council of Yewa North Local Government Area, led by the chairman, community development associations and other stakeholders, to intimate them of the modalities for the distribution of transformers by Ogun State government in the council. Matthew Shoumi completes the report.
As the current administration in Ogun State takes its people-centered approach to governance further with the distribution of transformers to address the needs of the people, the visit of the Commissioner for Community Development and Cooperatives, Honorable Abayomi Hunye, to Yewa North Local Government is to carry the people along in the distribution of transformers. Honorable Hunye said the governor has redefined good governance and equitable spread of dividends of democracy by ensuring that the people are allowed to make inputs on how the transformers will be distributed to the areas where they are needed in the local governments.
There is nothing you can do without carrying the people along. You must involve them in whatever you are doing. That is when it will be appreciated and they will make better use of that amenities. The essence of what Prince Dapo Abiodun is trying to do is to ensure that there is involvement of the community in all areas of his project, so that it won't be a project that is probably forced on them or imposed on them.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Alhaji Fatai Ogunlana, said the community development associations are strategic partners in the development of any state, and the government will continue to collaborate with them. Chairman of UR North Local Government, Honorable Gabriel Ogunyomi, said this is unprecedented in the history of people-centered approach to governance.
The foremost thing is this: when you vote for one government, we have what they call reciprocal. You will need to reciprocate the gesture back to people. This is the first time in the history of Ogun State distributing transformer through community development. Is the best ever I have seen.
Some of the stakeholders praised the government for putting the people first.
It's not a dictator. If he said he wants to put this transformer in front of my house, no problem. Whether I need it or not, nobody will know. But he said, go and sit down and put the transformer where it is needed. The community has to decide. The local government has to decide by themselves.
Officials of the ministry thereafter visited the areas where the transformers will be distributed for proper documentation. Matthew Shoumi, OGTV News.
The federal government has launched a website that would ensure transparency and accountability in the 2020 tripartite agreement to engage the general public on the implementation and asset monitoring of public officers' loads. Speaking at the launch of the website, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, disclosed that the website was set up in collaboration with Clean Foundation, a civil society organization responsible for the monitoring of the implementation of the 2020 tripartite agreement signed between the Federal Republic of Nigeria, United States of America, and the Bailiwick of Jersey. He explains that the President's clarion call and the global engagement by his ministry led to the signing of an asset return agreement with Switzerland and the World Bank for the return of USD 322 million in 2017. He said the funds were utilized for the National Cash Transfer Office program paid to poor households under the Office of the Special Advisor to the President on National Social Investment, which is now subsumed under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja said the African Continental Free Trade Area would only succeed when African countries demonstrate higher commitment that trumps the various regulatory and political trade barriers slowing free trade among countries. Buhari, who lamented the meager volume of intra-regional trade in Africa, said the only right collaborative action will bring a much stronger pace of transformation. He urged the conference to use the network and support provided by Pan-African institutions as a platform for the exchange of ideas, knowledge and skills. President Buhari also commended the organizers of the conference for demonstrating innovative thinking by taking the AFCFTA to the grassroots, lauding the president of Afrexim Bank, Professor Benedict Orama, and his team for committing $250 million as seed capital towards the establishment of the AFSNet. And coming up in the news, federal government engages the public on recovered assets monitoring implementation. We'll bring you the details of this and more after the break. Stay there. The news continues. The Nigeria Governors Forum has warned the federal government against sanctioning the striking academic staff union of universities ASU. According to the NGF, the federal government should rather resolve the contentious issues in the interest of the students in Nigeria. The NGF chairman and Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi made this appeal while speaking in Abuja after the forum's meeting. Meanwhile, the NGF has rejected the plan of the federal government to privatize National Integrated Power Plant (NIPS). The plants are Benin Generation Company Limited, Calabar Generation Company Limited, Olorun Generation Company Limited and Omotosho Generation Company Limited. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group NESG has revealed that Nigeria loses about $26 billion every year to the prevalent gender discrimination. According to the group, the figures disclose that on a per capita basis, gender inequality in earnings could lead to a wealth loss of $23,620 per person globally. This could lead to a projected global forfeiture of about $160 trillion in human capital wealth. Chief Executive Officer at NESG, Laoye Jayola, disclosed this in Abuja at a press briefing on Policy Innovation, Gender and Inclusion Summit. He said Nigeria is placed at 139th position among 149 countries on the Global Gender Index rank, advocating the need for cooperative efforts towards abating gender inequality-related losses. A court of appeal, Federal Capital Abuja, has set aside an earlier judgment of the Federal High Court in favor of the People's Democratic Party governorship candidate in Ogun State, Oladipupo Adebutu. A three-member panel of the appeal court, in a ruling on Friday, faulted retired Justice Taiwo of the Federal High Court's Abuja judgment, which declined jurisdiction to entertain a suit by Jimmy Adebisi Lawal. The report has it that Lawal is challenging the PDP's utilization of a delegates list as against the list of delegates who were elected at the World Congresses for the conduct of the May 25, 2022 governorship primary election. But in the lead judgment on Friday, Justice Biobele George Will ruled that the Federal High Court has jurisdiction over the case as it is a pre-election related. The judge also ordered remitting the case to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court for the hearing of the case on merit. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal in Abuja on Friday dismissed an appeal by Princess Anne Agon-Eze and confirmed the senatorial candidacy of Governor David Umahi. Princess Agon-Eze, a chieftain of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC in Ebonyi State, challenged Governor Umahi's emergence as the Ebonyi South senatorial zone candidate following a primary election held on July 30, 2022. A Federal High Court sitting in Abakaliki had in August recognized Agon-Eze as the senatorial candidate for the zone. However, the Court of Appeal in its judgment set aside the High Court's decision and all its orders. The appellate court also held that the High Court was wrong when it upheld Anne's counter-affidavit and failed to uphold the primary election of 9th June 2022, where Governor Umahi was nominated as the APC senatorial candidate, as the nomination was never challenged by anyone within 14 days as prescribed by Section 285 subsection 9 of the 1999 Constitution. The Federal Road Safety Corps, Ogun Command, has warned politicians in the state against flouting traffic rules and regulations as the campaigns for the 2023 elections kick off. The FRSC Ogun Sector Commander, Mr. Ahmed Umar, made the appeal in Ogun State. Umar, while reacting to the lifting of the ban on political campaigns, stressed the need for politicians to obey traffic rules while moving from place to place. He said that the appeal has become necessary to reduce road traffic crashes. Umar said that anyone who ran foul of the traffic rules was susceptible to being involved in a road crash. While urging politicians to be law-abiding, he said FRSC and police personnel will be out to enforce traffic rules. The Police Service Commission, PSC, has approved the promotion of 417 senior police officers. The Commission also approved promotion examinations for police officers scheduled to start from next year, 2023, in line with the public service rules. These were the high points of the 15th plenary meeting of the Commission in Abuja, presided over by the acting chairman of PSC, retired Justice Clara Ogunpeyi. The Commission also approved the appointment of AIG Bello A. Sadiq, currently AIG Zone 1, Kano, and AIG Dandaura Mustafa, AIG Zone 4, Makodi, to the substantive rank of Deputy Inspector General of Police, while the new DIG Sadiq was appointed to fill the vacant position of DIG Force Intelligence Bureau, FIB. DIG Dandaura, whose appointment takes effect from October 28, 2022, will be replacing DIG Sadiq, who is expected to retire from the service on the said date. The Commission further approved the promotion of 12 commissioners of police to the next rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police. It was 87 years of exemplary life worthy of emulation with solid virtue of exceptionality for late Princess Elizabeth Olukayode Subaru. This was a submission of all and sundry at the funeral ceremony organized to pay their last respects to the mother of the Special Advisor to Augusta Governor on Security Matters, retired AIG Olushola Subaru. Margaret Okunlola reports that the Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimotsalako Ojedele, in company of other state functionaries, graced the occasion in grand style. A report.
Man that is born of a woman has a short time to live, so says the Holy Bible. It was a celebration of life as late Princess Olukayode Subaru took a bow to the world beyond at the age of 87. Being a devout Christian, the body was received at the Redeemed Christian Church of God at Digbe, Abeokuta, where relatives as well as some members of Ogun State EXCO and dignitaries converged on the church to pay their last respects. The pastor in charge of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Region 32, Pastor Michael Aduradola, in his sermon reminded the congregation of the mystery of death, which according to him is a debt owed by all mortals.
Death is inevitable. Whether you are anointed or you are not anointed, you will die. Whether you are rich or you are not rich, you will die. Whether you are educated or not, you will die.
A prayer session was held for the family. Family, friends, and other sympathizers later moved to the cemetery where the remains of the deceased was committed to Mother Earth. As all bade her farewell, family members could not hide their emotions. They said the matriarch would surely be missed.
There is a saying of hers that has been a motivation for me, always telling us that we should remember the children of whom we are. That is what has helped me a lot in growing up.
She's wonderful. She put the children together. She leads us in the ways of God.
I thank God for her life, for everything she has done. She tried for us.
Since the first day I met her, she has accepted me and she has really been more than indeed.
There was a reception held at Valley View, Government House, Isalekbeyin, Abeokuta, where the Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimotsalako Oyedele, accompanied by state functionaries, political public office holders, and other guests were entertained and treated to good music. Taking a cue from the lives of our children, dignitaries who graced the occasion from far and near described the deceased as a rare gem.
If you know AIG Olushola Subaru, you will know that this is a very simple man. This is a man that we can talk about that is humility personified, which means he has actually imbibed this from the mother.
She's a very good woman, a very good mother to everybody when she was alive.
Late Princess Elizabeth Olukayode Subaru was born on 11th of April 1935. She was married to late architect Jimo Abiodun Subaru, and the union was blessed with children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. She transitioned to glory on the 13th of August 2022. Margaret Okunlola, OGTV News.
May the soul of Mama continue to rest in peace. Days after getting ratified by the World Athletics, a record time in the 100 meters hurdles in July, Tobi Amushon has visited her alma mater, Our Lady of Apostles in Ijebu-Ode, where she donated 1 million naira for the upkeep of the school. Glimpses this week focuses on the atmosphere of the visit and what a fit means to Nigerian sports and young women.
Recently, Our Lady of Apostles in Ijebu-Ode has been in the news. The flag of the school has been spotted on the world map since one of our old students, Tobi Amushon, stunned the world of athletics. From a Nigerian record in Diamond League, African record in Diamond League, African Athletics Championships, Tokyo Olympics record, to how Tobi Amushon became the first Nigerian athlete to win a World Athletics Championship gold in women's 100-meter hurdles in Oregon, United States. Our rise has been meteoric in a short time.
Tobi Amushon, the African champion, the Commonwealth champion, not only tonight became the world champion, but the world record holder as well.
After all these feats, she decided to visit her alma mater, the school that molded her, Our Lady of Apostles in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. Our Lady of Apostles Secondary School, Ijebu-Ode, was established in 1954, built by missionary sisters of Our Lady of Apostles, a Catholic independent all-girls school known for the caliber of our graduates that have grown to become prominent and respectable in Nigeria. Tobi was welcomed at the entrance of the school, where students lined up to receive their own, who has done them proud. The rendition of the anthem of the school was touching and moving, signified by the passion put into the rhymes. Hooray, hooray for the blue and white. Tobi Amushon, visibly impressed by the atmosphere and the form-packed reception, donated the sum of 1 million naira for the upliftment of the school, as she also promised to always do more.
There's little to nothing they can actually do if there's no, talents to be groomed. But, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of talents hidden here in the school. And, with the little token I'm able to donate, we can actually find the next Tobi and maybe many more Tobis. So, yeah.
The world record holder's visit to Ijebu-Ode will for a while be talked about, as this will also inspire many young girls to use their God-given potentials to be among the best in life.
Tobi Amushon, a focus on glimpses this week. Don't forget glimpses returns next week. Up next is Business News with Opeyemi Adewumi.
It's a pleasure to have you join us on the business segment of the news. The International Monetary Fund has said that the food crisis currently ravaging Nigeria and other sub-Saharan countries has been exacerbated by over-reliance on imported foods. In a new report titled African Food Prices are Soaring Amid High Import Reliance, the Washington-based lender said staple food prices in sub-Saharan Africa surged by an average 23.9% in 2020-22. The most since the 2008 global financial crisis. According to the report, the increase was a percent rise in the cost of a typical food consumption basket beyond generalized price increases. The report said that global factors were partly to blame because of the region's imports of top staple foods, noting that the pass-through from global to local food prices was significant, and noted that in Nigeria the prices of both cassava and maize more than doubled, even though they were mainly produced locally. An investigation has revealed that amid an unending insecurity crisis, that has negatively impacted farming activities in many parts of the country. The total value of agricultural products imported into Nigeria within the last 2 years rose to 4.6 trillion naira. According to data collated from separate foreign trade statistics of the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria imported imports to the tune of 2.36 trillion naira between June 2022 to June 2021, while another 2.31 trillion naira was imported between June 2021 and June 2022. On the other hand, agri-exports within the period trailed the import component by a distant mile, standing at 964.24 billion naira, leaving a balance of trade of 3.7 trillion naira. By volume, durum wheat led the agri products imported into Nigeria. Others included crude palm oil, palm kernel, mackerel, edible mixtures, maize seeds, among others. Economists have warned that Nigerians' ailing economy might be worsened as the political parties and their candidates begin electoral campaign for the 2023 general election. The economists especially warned that the aftermath of the possible excess liquidity in the system by politicians occasioned by electioneering might further increase the inflation rate and lead to a further devaluation of the naira. The dollar hit 735 naira in the parallel market the same day electioneering for the elections officially commenced. The Electoral Act 2022 has a cap on political donations and expenditures by parties and candidates. The National Bureau of Statistics said earlier in August 2022 said Nigerian headline inflation rate increased to 20.5% from 19.64% in July. The federal government has established a special economic zone security outfit as a deliberate measure to protect the 46 free trade zones against economic sabotage. The SEG outfit is also expected to safeguard the investment and complement the service already provided by the Directorate of State Security, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Customs Service and the Nigerian Immigration Service. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Adeni Adebayo, disclosed this in Abuja while decorating 37 officers drawn from various academic disciplines. Adebayo said that the reason for the establishment of the unit is to provide adequate security for lives and properties and investments in the free trade zones. The bold steps, he added, would help to build the confidence of investors, owners of enterprises in the zones and prospective investors alike. He said the government was hopeful that the new development would attract more foreign direct investment as it is natural for investments to locate where they can be secured. The Nigerian Railway Corporation has lost 531 million naira in revenue loss due to the suspension of the Abuja-Kaduna train service. Addressing journalists in Lagos, the corporation managing director, Fidet Ohira, said the amounts represented what could have been made through ticket sales for the standard gauge passenger train attacked by terrorists about 6 months ago. It disclosed that the corporation had restored the damaged rolling stock and fixed the track, but the train service would not resume without the safe release of the remaining passengers held hostage. Ohira explained that the federal government has said that the Abuja-Kaduna rail lines will remain shut until those held captives by bandits are released. The NRC chief executive added that the government has set up a committee to ensure maximum security for both train passengers and facilities during operation. And finally, the federal government has said that the maritime sector is responsible for the transportation of about 70% of globally traded goods. It also said that the sector was a major contributor to the nation's gross domestic product. The Minister of Transportation, Mazu Zambo, while speaking at the 2022 World Maritime Day in Lagos, urged Nigerians to take advantage of the declaration by the International Maritime Organization to explore more partnership. He said the country would demand an inclusive and fair distribution of global resources and deployment of relevant technology to aid decarbonization and control of marine plastic litter and befouling. No nation can afford to ignore a sector that employs millions of people globally, which is responsible for the transportation of at least 70% of globally traded goods and is a major contributor to the GDP. And that was the business segment of the news. Many thanks for staying with us. We now go back to Bukola for the rest of the bulletin.